Okay, here's another example that we're going to work with. It's called credit data, and it's in the model data package, which you'll have after you library tidy models. And so far, what you've learned is the basic syntax of creating a recipe. However, before you create a recipe, you've got to look at your data, and we haven't done that so far. And what I'm going to do now is take a good look at the credit data and see what needs to be done to it before you get into working on a recipe. You have to understand what you're trying to bake. And of course, the first thing we always do is do a structure. And you see something important here first. Good and bad credit. That's what our logistic model is going to try to predict, whether the credit is good or it's bad. And you can see that the bad is the reference level. It is listed first. And I checked this out as it is actually correct that bad is the reference level. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 factors and a bunch of numeric variables. Okay. And then we get into the summary. And you can see that one thing that we have to deal with is there are some NA values in here. And there's some, well, I'm going to point out some features of the numeric variables later, but you can kind of see them here. Like there's a debt which has a median of 0, a third quartile of 0, and then a maximum of 30,000. So that's horrible right skewness. We're going to have to do something about that. And the same thing with assets. Okay. And then there's another package that I want to introduce you to. Is called Skimmer. And you'll have to install this package, and then you can run it like this. You create the skim of the credit data, and it produces a summary table. And it gives you some good information. It tells you, for instance, how many missing values there are in the various things. And then for the numeric variables, it gives you the completion rate, the complete rate, which you can see that you've got a couple of NA values here with income, assets, and debt have some missing values, although it's strange that the complete rate, debt has 18 missing values, but it's apparently this is a rounding thing. It has a complete rate of 1. But anyway, there are a lot of missing values of income. And it then gives you percentiles. Perhaps the most interesting thing about this is it gives you a very small histogram of the data, and you can see the extreme cases of right skewness in the data when it goes like this. Okay? And then I use the library core plot and the command core plot to get a correlation matrix of all of the numeric variables. And this is the little ditty that'll get you a good correlation matrix. First, you have to take only the numeric variables, then you have to get rid of the missing values, and then you run core to produce a matrix, then you run core plot on the matrix, and you get this nice plot. And you can see that there's, well, probably your most serious correlation is like these two, and they're not that bad. So we're not going to worry about this. So the things that you're going to have to include in your recipe. So there are NA values. We need to exclude these observations or impute the missing values. I'm just going to exclude them in this example. Imputation could go a dozen different ways, and I don't want to cover all that. And the variables that have right skewness, we want to take logarithms to reduce the right skewness. But you notice also that they some of them have zero values, and we're going to have to figure out how to take care of that. And I'll show you later how to do that. But right now, what you should do is perhaps refer to ChatGPT and ask in the Tidy Models package recipes, how do you do these things? How would you get rid of NA values, and how would you deal with taking a logarithmic transformation of a variable that has some zero values? Okay, so that's enough.